Hey, it's me, MLB. Here's chapter 54 of Chance Ball, and this one is titled Flying Fish Sticks. There on the sign was a beautiful big chalk drawing of a pancake, and you grinned excitedly. Perfect, he said with a smirk as he grabbed your hand and led you to the door. It was busy inside, and you waited for a seat at the back of the cafe. Unbeknownst to you and Dabi, a certain 16-year-old was having breakfast with a few of her non-volleyball friends. She had seen you and Dabi, and a devious plan had started to formulate in her mind. You and Dabi sat, and then ordered your breakfast choices, and then dug in as soon as it arrived at the table. "Oh, this is so good," you commented to Dabi, who was stuffing his face with pancakes. He hummed. You both enjoyed the food, and then sat there sipping your drinks as you chatted idly. It was while Dabi was mid-sentence he got a call from his boss, Tonkara, and he frowned at his phone. "Take it," he said. "It's fine, promise." You gave him a huge, genuine smile, and he answered it, getting up to walk away. He chatted for a short while and then came back to you. "He wants me in later today." "Yeah, that's fine. I have work anyway, so don't worry. We're okay now." Dabi nodded and you stood up to go, thanking the cafe staff as you left the place. "Oh, I wanted to do a little shopping before heading home, if that's okay. I know you don't like shopping, so you can head home now if you like," he said with a smile, content after that morning's date. "Yeah, okay. I'll try and finish up early so I can pick you up from work tonight, yeah?" he said, kissing you quickly on the cheek. "I'm saving that mouth for later," he added lowly with a smirk, before letting your hand go and walking away from you. Instead of walking away like a normal person, he turned and walked backwards, doing the F-boy lip bite while hip-thrusting at you as he wiggled away. "Weirdo," you chuckled, waving him off dismissively, before turning to head towards another shop nearby. From the safety of the cafe, a pair of 16-year-old eyes watched you go, and once Dabi was out of sight, they made their move to follow you. Aimlessly, you walked into one of the shops and checked through the sales rack, pulling on clothes and looking over each one. As you slowly moved along, a younger girl joined you. You were aware that she was there, but you didn't look at her, until she reached for the same dress as you that you had just pulled out. "Oh, sorry," you said blandly, letting go to move on to another one. "It's fine," she said brightly. "We must have the same taste in clothes. This one's really pretty." "Yeah, it's cute," you replied, still not really into the conversation. "Hey, I hope this isn't, like, weird or anything, but I saw you earlier at the cafe with a guy. I think he might be, like, involved with my volleyball team." You looked at her. "Are you in the junior girls team?" you asked. "Yeah, I am. I'm the ace and main server, but that's not the point," she said flippantly. "I'm honestly not that good." She let out a "please tell me I'm amazing" type laugh, and you forced a half smile. "Oh, that's cool," you replied, still trying to find a way to escape. "So, is, like, he your boyfriend or something?" she asked. "Yeah," you replied bluntly. "Oh, okay. So, anyway," she said, "I'm pretty sure he tells you everything about the team already, so there's no need to worry, huh?" "What do you mean?" you asked, pausing a little. She hummed, pretending that she'd gone back to searching through the clothes before you interrupted her. "Oh, you know, just like someone he's been seeing in the team." You stopped and turned to her. "Explain," you demanded. "Oh, you know, are you sure he tells you everything?" she asked, her supposed innocence not fooling you for a second. You gave her a dark look, so she continued. "I mean, I've been trying to tell her it's not right, but, like, he should know better. It's basically pedophilia. It's pretty sick." Your blood boiled, and you clenched your hands into a fist, doing your best to refrain from punching her. "I asked for an explanation," you said darkly, your jaw clenching as you spoke. "Now talk." "Oh, it's just this girl in my volleyball team who's been seeing your boyfriend. She told me they're dating, which is wrong on so many levels," she stated. "It's disgusting, actually." You didn't wait to hear any more about it and just turned and left, leaving her there to grin evilly as you stormed off. "Suck that, Dabi," the 16-year-old thought smugly. "That's for ruining the team. Good riddance." You stormed down the road, blinded by anger. It can't be true, can it? Dabi wouldn't do that. You didn't know what to do. Should you go home and let it fester, or just go straight to the volleyball courts and confront Dabi? Or a third option, go back and punch the smugness out of that bitch who just so happily told you that your boyfriend might be cheating on you with a possible 16-year-old. You didn't even know her name. "What the heck?" you screamed out into nowhere as you walked. You decided to go home, but the minute you got there you wanted to confront Dabi, so left again and went straight to the local hall. As you approached the hall, you could hear people practicing inside, and you slid the door open and looked around for Dabi. He was setting up a few empty bottles on the ground for the girls to try and hit with their serves, and everyone looked at you while you stared them down. "Oi!" you barked at him. He looked up and saw you, grinning from ear to ear. "Are you coming here to teach the girls how to, I'm not here for jokes, Dabi." You snapped and his face fell. "What's up your, Come here," you demanded. "What the fudge? It's hard not to swear. Crap. Damn." He grunted with annoyance as he put the last bottle down and walked over to you at the door. "Start hitting, girls. We'll be back," he called over his shoulder. He pushed you backwards out the door and slid it closed, scowling as you smacked his hand away. "What the hell's up your ass?" he growled at you. "Your effing girlfriend's head, that's what," you snapped angrily. "Who the hell is she?" "What the hell are you talking about?" he replied, almost as angrily. "I was just enlightened by someone on this team that I met earlier today that some other chick here is calling you her boyfriend. Who the hell is she?" "I don't know what the hell you're talking about," he replied. "You're the only girlfriend I have. It's hard enough keeping you the hell happy. So why in the fresh hell would I go and get another one?" he replied firmly. He did have a point. "Who'd you hear that from?" he asked, crossing his arms across his chest. "Was she snotty? About this tall?" He held his hands up to about her height. He then gave quite a good description of the 16-year-old who'd spoken to earlier. Yeah, why?" you asked. "Because she's a bitch. Called her out on her plays, and she's hated me ever since," he replied. "So she made it all up?" you asked, a little embarrassed that you'd gone off like that. From the corner of your eye you saw one of the girls pull her head back inside the hall, and you hung your head. "Oh, sorry, man. I shouldn't have blown up like that," you sighed. "Sorry, Dabi." "What the hell?" he sighed. "You okay? You good now? I have to go and teach. Make an excuse for your flying crap interrupting the lesson." "Yeah, sorry again," you mumbled, turning and walking away. "If that bitch turns up here, text me." "I won't, because I'm not good at cleaning up blood. I'll talk to her myself," he called after you. "Yeah, okay. See you after work," you yelled back at him. "I'll come get you," he shouted before walking back to the door of the hall and entering. You sighed again. "Oh, I'm so dumb. How could I have just believed her like that?" Dabi stepped back into the gym and everyone looked at him. "Okay, back to work," he called. "Let's go." Sheepishly the girls fell back into place and kept practicing. Most of them had overheard you and Dabi outside and had been whispering, and Omaway had even looked out the door. She looked over at Dabi as she waited in line to serve, and he looked at her and gave her a small nod of recognition and then looked away. "Does that mean he and the girl have broken up now?" she thought, looking down at the ball in between her hands. I actually hadn't even thought if he had anyone. Knowing that she shouldn't be feeling happy about what she had overheard between you and Dabi, she couldn't help but feel it. A sense of relief almost washed over her. "Could I possibly have a chance with him now?" she thought, stepping up to the front of the line and throwing the ball up. It went well and she tensed and jumped, smacking it across the net and nailing one of the bottles on the ground on the other side, sending it bouncing away on the wooden boards. "Good," Dabi called, clapping his hands and nodding. "Next up." Omaway beamed over at him, elated that he had praised her, but by the time she'd looked, he had already moved his attention to the next girl, so she quickly got out of the way and made her way up to his side. Are we doing good?" she asked shyly. "Yeah," he grunted at her, his eyes still watching the girls who were serving. "Try again," he then shouted to one of the girls who had missed her shot and got the ball tangled up in the net. Omaway nodded and remained beside him, watching the other girls practice. Just being by his side was enough to make her happy, and she smiled to herself while squealing internally about being able to stand next to him. Dabi was too caught up watching the practice to notice Omaway still standing there, but in the back of his mind his detective mode was hunting down the roots of the rumour. Who the hell's making up crap about me dating someone here? Is there someone here who they got the idea from? He scowled deeply as he thought about it. He hadn't seen the 16-year-old girl troublemaker turn up yet. He was waiting for her to show her face, then he was going to have a stern word with her. Hey, Dabi, is it okay if you practice with me a little later?" Omaway's soft voice asked him. He looked at her. Truth be told, he had completely forgotten that she was still there. "No, got to pick my girlfriend up after work," he said casually. Omaway looked visibly crestfallen, and then it clicked for him. Had the 16-year-old seen him walk Omaway home and thought she'd found someone to hold over his head? That bitch, he seethed internally. Feeling like he needed to get away from Omaway, he returned his attention to the practicing girls and called for them to stop for a second. "Okay," he called, approaching the group. "Teams of 2, switching in and switching out." He very quickly organised the girls into teams of 2 and then set them up to have matches. Then he stood back against the wall and watched. He had always been focused on the games and plays, so he hadn't seen Omoe paying special attention to him. But this time he looked out for it, and yes, she was indeed giving him special attention. Giving him looks, glancing at him, blushing, looking away when he caught her looking, smiling brightly whenever he praised her. The signs were all there. Okay, I see what's happened now, he thought with annoyance. This toddler here has gone and gotten a crush on me, and has told Miss 16-year-old bitch about it, who's then spun the story and riled Yin up to spite me. Screw her, man. She has it coming. Wanting to text you the second he'd figured it out, he pulled his phone out and discreetly sent you the message, telling you that he had figured out what had happened and he'd explain it all when he picked you up tonight. He put his phone back in his pocket and saw Omoe was watching him. He felt repulsed. Slowly, the lesson ticked by, and eventually it was time for him to go. He couldn't wait to leave. He just suddenly felt so uncomfortable being there, but as he left he heard Omoe call out for him. Oh, for hell's sake, he groaned internally, turning slowly to face her. What? He asked bluntly, sounding far harsher than he had meant to sound. Sorry to bother you, but thank you for your hard work today. I really appreciate everything you've done for me, and... Omoe, I need to ask you something, he said sternly, his tone making her worry immediately. Yes? She asked. Me walking you home. Has anyone asked you about that? He asked pointedly, wanting to see if she'd mentioned the other girl. No, Omoe said, confused. What do you mean? Has anyone made comment about me walking you home? He pressed. Omoe suddenly remembered that the boys on her block thought she was dating Dabi, and she panicked, thinking one of them had said something to Dabi and he'd found out. She went bright red and looked down at the ground. What's being said? He asked her. I'm sorry, I should have corrected them, she whispered in fear. For some reason, I just didn't think that you already had someone, but... Corrected who? He asked. About what? About you being my boyfriend. Your what? I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I really look up to you and I really like you. You're so nice to me and you took the time to train me and I love you, Dabi. I really do, she admitted, tears gathering at the corners of her eyes. Dabi was shocked to hear it come from her mouth and just froze, staring at her and trying to work out what to say next. What is going to happen? We'll have to wait for the next chapter tomorrow. I'll see you all then.